Hi, welcome to the video today. Today I'm going to share with you some ideas from Juliet Robertson. She's going to be our guest speaker today. She's going to share with you lots of kind of outdoor learning activities for those rainy days.
Good afternoon, James. This is Juliet Robertson. I'm an outdoor education consultant and I am based in the northeast of Scotland, where today it is very, very cold. You asked me to give you some top tips about wet, cold weather and how to be outside. So here's some just to start the ball rolling. So my first top tip is to make sure that you're well dressed for the weather, whatever it may be, whether you need a woolly hat, lots of waterproof layers, whatever. Then you can role model being outside, being happy and wanting to be there. And I think that really rubs off on the children. My next top tip is to make sure that your resources are really ready to go and are suitable for being outside. There's an awful lot of what I would call fake outdoor resources. So I thought I would just show you some of my mark making kit and stuff around writing to give you an idea about how I prepare for being outside that way. First of all, when I have clipboards, I make sure that they're fully waterproof. So that's an A3 clipboard, big enough for children to balance their elbow on. Here I have an old wash bag just full of various things. So to start with, I like to have brightly coloured card outside because card doesn't get destroyed as quickly in the rain, and as you can see, bright coloured card like that, fluorescent, is visible and clear. I also, oops, there it goes. I also use old things, so these are old bits of card that have come out of a packet of tights. You might recognise this, it's tops from a Chinese takeaway. That's an old bit of card just cut off packaging that arrives. Luggage tags are fantastic. What else do I have? There's a mirror. Mirrors work really well in all weathers, as do CDs for writing on. You'll have to forgive me, it's quite windy here today. These are pieces of paper that have already been used once on one side, and I cut them into quarters. A4 goes into quarters, and then I put them onto clipboards like this, and they work really well for all age groups to use. So A5 clipboards work as well as A3 ones. I love lanyards ones. I usually find that I can get these after conferences, and they're great for storing paper in. These are great fun for mark making on the go. It's a tiny little waterproof container. You get them from water sports things, and you can roll up paper and pencil in there. Personally, I think everybody needs syringes for mark making outside. When I use pencils, I always use these thick varieties that don't break and that always write on wet paper, whereas pens and a lot of other things won't. If I'm using puppets and things outside, I make sure that they're really small so that they don't take long to dry. I'll have bits of paper in terms of old purses and things like that. So you can collect things like old tickets, rail tickets, that's an airport ticket, and you can stick them into old wallets like that are also waterproof. One of my luxury items when it comes to mark making and literacy outside are these tiny little strips from Cozy. What I did was I put the alphabet on in the font I wanted on the other side, but you've got your nature letters on the other. So again, a great provocation for work outside. And naturally, when you work outside, you really want to make the most of free and found items. So really, anything we find can be used for enjoying literacy. You can just use here's a bit of pine, look at that, easy for making faces, that sort of thing. You have a lot of fun there, just enjoying using what we find as provocations. Pine like this is great for just using as paintbrushes, mark making in mud and water, that sort of thing. So again, it doesn't matter what the weather's like, it's writing implements for every day of the year. My next top tip is that your resources should be really quick dry. There is absolutely no point in having stuff outside if you've then got to bring it all down to dry it off, and that takes forever. So I'll just show you some of the quick dry materials I might have in a den building kit, for example. So if you can see, most of my den building kit is in a suitcase. You can see the rainbow organza, there's ripstop nylon, there's an old shower curtain, more coloured organza, got a few tarps, that's my maths tarp. The blue stuff here is sports netting that you use on sports gear. I love pretty stuff like that looks like it's solid, that you can see through. And all those things are very quick dry. In fact, I never wash them, I just let the rain do its job. I'm now back home because I want to share my next tip, which is to make the most of the weather and all that it brings. So I'd like to show you in my garden what I call a rain train, and just the value of having transparent material outside. So this is my garden, which is currently a right work in progress, but you can see that there is a container with a chain, and as I step back you will see that it goes all the way up to the roof and comes off the guttering. That's a rain chain, and water trickles down that in the rain. If you see, we've got a corrugated transparent roof, just perfect for watching the rain fall and land. Also, one of the beauties is that you can see where rain goes. Rain is also perfect for making the most of seeing how full a pond is. On wet weather like this, one of the most exciting things you can do is enjoy the frozen ice and look at it melt. There's a perfect disc from one of our pots. For my next tip, what I thought I would do is ask the staff at Fort William and Oban Stramash Outdoor Nurseries what they thought about rainy days and what to do with children then. Just so that you know, Fort William has only 30 rain-free days a year. So if anyone knows about outdoor wet weather, it's Fort William. Over to them. Hi Jen, can you give us your top tips for being outside on a rainy day and working with children?
I think the top tips are be well dressed, appropriately dressed, and keeping active to keep yourself warm are the best things to do.
What advice do you have for play on rainy days?
It's the best type of play because they love to play in the water and splash in the puddles and just natural play.
Hi Hannah, it's just started to rain. What tips can you give other early years practitioners for working in the rain with children?
Children are very creative and always find lots of different things to do when they're playing in the water, splashing in puddles and pouring water into containers, making soup. They like fishing in puddles as well, and usually they just don't even notice it's raining.
Hi Kate, what's your top tip for people working outside in the rain or cold windy weather?
Well, first of all, I'd say that it's never as wet as you think it is. Weather is truly an adult perception, not a child's perception. And sometimes parents will say to us, oh, it's been really horrible today, it's been really wet. And actually, as we've been outside all day, it's not been wet at all. There's been varying degrees of light mist and mizzle, a bit of drizzle, maybe a bit dreak, and sometimes there's a torrential downpour. And the children just see the opportunities that the weather provides them with. So whether it be catching raindrops on their tongues, using various containers from little milk bottle tops to big saucepans to catch the rain in. If there's pipes set up or they find pipes, they can see the water running down it, jumping in puddles, seeing where the water goes to.
As a lazy teacher, I always love the rain and the wind and the miserable weather, because when it comes to the summertime you enjoy it even more, and you can compare and contrast. You can go back and revisit places that you saw when it was wet and miserable, and how different it looks and feels and smells when it's dry. So without that rain, without that wind, without that wet, how would we enjoy the good weather when it arrives? Well, finally, I'd like to thank you very much for getting to the end of this video. I hope you found it useful. If you want more information, my website is creativestarlearning.co.uk, or just Google Juliet at Creative Star. My website has over 700 blog posts about everything to do with outdoor learning and play. And also I've written 2 books. One of them is called Dirty Teaching, a beginner's guide to getting outside. That's for primary school teachers. And also Messy Maths, an outdoor and playful approach for the early years. Enjoy from a wet and rainy Inverurie.
Thank you, Juliet, for being the guest on today's video. Make sure to go and check out her website and get those books, and to subscribe to this channel for more content. Bye.